And speaking of Tony, he's here. Welcome in. Great to see you.
Great to see you guys, too.
So outfield prospects, that's kind of the topic here today. And let's start off by the one that everybody wants to know more about. That's Tyler Naquin, the number one pick from this year at Mahoning Valley. Understand he's got a real good approach at the plate and also a good defensive outfielder.
Yeah, and he immediately shifts into that number one spot as far as outfield prospects in the system, just because of the pedigree, high college round pick and all that stuff. He's very versatile. He can play all three positions, got a powerful arm. You know, all the tools are there. I mean, the power's not there yet. That's the thing that maybe can come a little bit later. He'll never be an elite power hitter, but a guy maybe can hit 8 to 15 home runs a year. But the strength of his game is getting on base, making good, consistent contact, running a little bit, and then that big cannon of an arm, which people in Cleveland these days would like to see some more powerful arms out there.
Tony, you look at another young man, Jordan Smith, who has gone through the system now, been here a couple years. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about him. He's
probably one of my favorite guys right now as far as the system goes. Just a consistent ball player. He did it last year in Mahoning Valley. His numbers almost are exactly the same as they were last year. And then if you go month to month to month this year, he's just been a consistent ball player. He reminds me a lot of Jordan Brown. Now, I'm not talking about what Jordan Brown became, but going through the system, that consistent ball player puts the bat on the ball, will hit for average. He's big, and he's a lot bigger and more athletic than Brown was. He's a much better defender than Brown was. So there's a lot of potential here for the Indians to have a guy that got a little bit later in the draft that can become something for them.
Yeah, and Smith really got hot, too, especially in June. Carlos Moncrief, Tony, here's an interesting guy. He's a converted pitcher to outfielder. It's been a couple of years now that he's done this. He's got all the tools and really has a lot of the numbers except for the batting average. That's the one you like to see a little better, but potential-wise, this kid is right up there, isn't he?
Yeah, I know I said Jordan Brown was one of my favorite players. This might be me and my favorite player in the system, just because of the raw abilities he has. I mean, obviously, the batting average isn't there. It's been steadily climbing over the course of the year, but he's getting better, and he's learning the position. It's only his third year actually playing, his second full season playing the position. He came in as a pitcher. He has a powerful arm in the outfield. He's got power in the bat. Half of his hits are for extra bases this year, pretty much. He's going to strike out a lot, but he also has a good approach. He's patient. He'll take his pitches. So there are a lot of tools there. He's a very toolsy outfielder. Now it's going to be how they can kind of mold all that to become something down the road. But I think, as far as ability goes, he might be one of the most exciting prospects in the entire system.
Well, right now we're seeing some guys get called up. Ezekiel Carrera is somebody that just got called up to big leagues. This kid right now in Double-A, Thomas Neal, is somebody we received in a trade last year with San Francisco Giants. Is somebody that could also be called up to Triple-A or the big leagues at some point.
Definitely. I think, we saw last year he came over. He struggled with that. He had a wrist injury, a shoulder injury. He wasn't himself when he came back to spring training this year. The Indians, obviously it showed that the Indians ended up designating for an assignment. He didn't get picked up, and he kind of had to start back in Double-A. He took about a month and a half in the season where he wasn't showing any power, but then all of a sudden, boom, I think all that health came back, and he's starting to show that power. All his home runs that you're seeing there, the 9 home runs, have come in the last 2 months. Yeah. So he's definitely rounded in form. He's always hit for average all year, but that power has been that missing component, and now that it's there, he's a right-hand stick that, that's something the Indians could use. So he's definitely back in the mix as far as an outfield prospect for the Indians. A little bit older, and maybe not as high profile as some of these other guys, but he's definitely in that mix.
Yeah, nice to see. Could be a late bloomer for sure.
Right.
Another guy that's been in the system for a little bit and has really taken off in Columbus, and I know we get asked about him sometimes, is Tim Fedorov, who for a couple of weeks stretch was batting over 500. Now, he is a left-handed stick. The average overall is at 331. That's counting his Double-A and Triple-A stats. Tony, he started at Double-A, hit over 300, goes up to Triple-A, bats even higher. Where is this kid on the prospect radar?
He's definitely made himself into it. He came in, with the pedigree as a high bonus guy, big prospect out of North Carolina, as a definite prospect. He slipped a little bit over a couple of those years, but he's always been a pretty consistent performer throughout his minor league career. This year, everything is coming together for him. He's hitting a lot better. His defense has improved a little bit. And if you ever listen to Indians front office talk, they've always said he had to be an elite offensive performer to get a chance. Well, he's doing it now. I mean, just look at those numbers. They're pretty impressive. So, now it just becomes the fact that he's left-handed and those kind of things. Is he going to fit in or not? So he's definitely on that radar. Now will he get a chance?
Yeah, some good questions.
There's a guy that I really want to know more about that I've watched now for the last couple of years, Jared Gettard. I think that he's a guy that can get some big league experience and actually have some success. What do you think?
That's a guy that's versatile. He can play in several positions. The Indians have used him a lot in the outfield this year because they need some. It's a need position for them. I think they should be giving him a shot right now. And if the season continues to unravel like it kind of has so far, you can see guys like him and a couple other guys get those chances. Guys like Thomas Neal and that. Getter has power from the right side. He's proven over his career in AAA and in the minors that he can be a run producer. Maybe he's one of those late bloomer kind of guys.
Tony, great stuff. You can read Tony Lastoria's blog on stohd.com, and Tony, your book, of course. And you kind of put a new book out, every year, every 2 years, it seems?
Yeah, every year. Every January, February it comes out.
Excellent. So make sure you check out Tony's stuff. It's good stuff. And make sure you stay tuned here to Indians Minor League Magazine. More to come. It's brought to you by Hyundai.